Okay, and we're here. Welcome, everybody. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the most. God, uh, wow,
Unfortunately, we
talking
can't do a
way over.
yeah, we can't do another cut or because we're live.
Yeah, no, I don't have any sort of like editing software, so you guys are getting this as it goes. So, take two. Welcome, everybody. Welcome to the most must-see NFL fantasy football ramble that happens at this time 1:47 in our office.
Virtually.
Kind of in our office virtually. I'm in my office technically. I've been here
Yeah.
for the past like 4 months, and same with you. 4 or 5 months now, and plan
Oh
on
yeah.
being here for the next 4 or 5 months or so,
Yep.
which sucks. It's really sad because like I am so bored, and I'm starting to talk to the plants.
Oh,
And the
do they talk
unfortunate
back?
thing,
That
dude,
when they start talking back, that's when you know you have some issues going
dude. Well, some of them do talk back a little
on.
bit. George is an asshole. That's why he's getting put into the salad tonight, ain't you, George? So we're starting off hot today because, man, I got my blood pumping just a little while ago. Some a-hole hit me in the parking lot of the natural grocers. So I'm fiery today. Firing on all cylinders, man.
All
Let's
right.
fucking do this.
Yes.
Let's just go off on
Use
this
it to your
division.
advantage. Use it to your
Yeah.
advantage now.
Yeah. So I guess introductions. That's Tony S. Burgess. The S this week stands for
I don't have anything. Scott. That's my
Scott.
nickname.
Scotty. Tony Scotty Burgess. And
Yeah.
I'm Garrett M. La Laguna. The M stands for my God. Yeah, I don't know. I got nothing this week.
Okay.
Uh, but yeah, man, we're here. We're having fun. We're gonna be talking about the AFC South this week. Definitely an interesting division.
Hmm.
Uh, I feel it's one of the most put together divisions in the entire league right now. Like it's pretty straightforward as to who the starters are, who's going to be the stars of this division. There could be a couple breakout guys here and there, but
Yeah.
I think it's relatively well put together.
Yeah. No, it's like you were saying, it's well put together. You can kind of foresee what you can even almost predict what the standings will be like. Maybe we have a kind of a debate between the Colts and the Jaguars. Maybe they'll flip flop a bit. The Titans, I mean, they could also fall down, but Derrick Henry, like we'll talk about later, but he could be one of the better or the best running back in the league this year. Um, but yeah, no, it's a good division. Texans are pretty dang good. Titans made the playoffs last year. And I think those two.
I could definitely see every team in this division being right around 500. Like the worst
Yeah.
team being 7-9, maybe, because I mean, it really is well put together when you really start looking at it. And when you look at the schedules this year, there are a couple questions that I feel for maybe one of the teams, like the Jags. Uh, but I have hope. I have faith. I'm totally down with some Minshew mania.
No, I like that guy a lot. He's a character. There's no one like him. But he is very 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 okay last year,
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
Very
yeah.
okay. Like he's
He
like
was he
it's
was
more
one of
like a
the
little
top
soft clap, like
rookies.
little soft clap. Like okay,
Yeah,
solid,
he
solid.
definitely came in with a lot more fervor than he ended the season with. You know, but yeah, man, he's garnering a lot of praise this year from his head coach and the higher ups at in the Jags organization. They look at him and yeah, he's still that, wacky crazy guy having fun with the porn stash. And I don't know if you guys could tell, I grew out my mustache like his. Rocking the Minshew mania, even though I'm a Giants fan. I just love that kid. Uh,
No, he is definitely fun to watch. Definitely one of the more
exactly.
entertaining guys out there.
And he's having a
Yeah.
lot of fun on camera and with the interviewers, but behind the scenes, for all intents and purposes, like the coaches and the ownership is just praising the heck out of him, saying he is a consummate professional and he is like a man on a mission this year. He does not want to be in the last place of this division this year.
Yeah, it'd be really fun to watch him. And now he doesn't have Nick Foles to worry about taking his job again,
Exactly.
right? They
Exactly.
traded him to the Bears or
Yep.
released him. I'm not sure what it
I
was.
think they
The trans,
traded him.
but um, but yeah, I mean so yeah, who knows what's going to go on with the Bears? We'll talk about that when we get to NFC North sometime. But yeah, at least Minshew it's his job now to lose, right? I don't think they have anyone on the roster behind him.
Not really. No.
No one noticeable.
Yeah.
No one.
So, yeah, he really does not want to be in last place. So, with that, we're going to start our divisional preview team by team, and we're going to start with the team that everybody's projecting to be in last place, the Jaguars.
There we go. Right? It's so hard. I mean, again, we kind of just briefly talked about it. They could move up to number 3, maybe. They could.
There
Maybe
are a
2.
lot
I
of
don't know.
circumstances that can happen here. I think they could potentially get up to number 2 in this division.
They could. They
Yeah. I don't think
Yeah.
they're going to win the division. I think there's no way in hell that they win the division, but they could potentially sneak in to the playoffs in a wild card spot, especially if their defense wants to step up and actually be the defense that it was of old. However, to that point, they lost Calais Campbell, they lost AJ Booyah or Bouye,
Booyah.
whatever.
I like
Yeah,
Booyah though.
AJ Booyah.
Booyah.
Dude, that was seriously, man. If I was him and like intercepting the ball or just doing some awesome
Say
play, I would
booyah.
always stand
Booyah.
up and just booyah.
I would love that.
You know,
I would do that.
why
I would take
not?
advantage of that opportunity.
Yeah. They brought in Tyler Eifert this
It's a
year.
solid pickup.
So if he's actually able to play and not be injured for, 90% of the season, he's
that
a stud.
he is a stud. Exactly.
So but yeah, as we were saying, this is Minshew's job to lose at quarterback. This is all about, the Minshew mania. And although I did say it last year, he was my spirit animal, and I am growing out my mustache like his, in solidarity and whatnot. He did screw me a little bit last year. He did lose me a game last year, so I will never forgive you for that. So I personally will never draft him or pick him up, but he's still my spirit animal.
Still have respect for him. That's all that matters.
Oh yeah, yeah. No, I still love the guy, especially when he's on other people's teams.
Shoot. No, it's again just a fun guy to watch.
Yeah.
We'll see what happens this year. Who knows?
I mean,
Maybe he is. Maybe his sophomore season, he can really improve a lot and maybe become one of the most improved players in the league. If he really is working that hard, and is that motivated to not lose so many games again this year. Who knows? We'll see.
yeah, but he definitely needs the weapons around him to help with that. And
He
I mean,
does.
Leonard Fournette is a great weapon. They don't really have a number 2 behind Fournette, so I think he should probably be a relatively higher draft pick. I'd say
Yeah,
if he's
he
not
always gets
gone
like
by the second or third
yeah.
round, then that's amazing, especially in a 12-team league this year.
He always has 30 carries or more.
Yeah, no, he is
It's just the injury.
absolutely
It's just
beastly.
injuries though. You can get. It's just with all that workload,
Yep.
he gets hurt quite a bit.
Yep, and they don't have somebody like a TJ Yeldon behind him anymore to pick up that slack, which I loved handcuffing them together, man. When you get that option, I mean, Fournette isn't bad though. Last year he came in number 8 ranked running back. So,
Yep.
and he's not even that much of a pass catcher either.
Not really. No,
Yeah, so that's
so for a PPR league, he's not the most ideal running back, but he still just gets the ball like every time it's a run, he's getting the ball.
yeah, yeah,
And they
absolutely.
run more than they pass
Yep.
with that team. So
Yeah. And then tight end position, obviously we talked about him, Tyler Eifert. He's there now. He should add a lot of support there. Plus, they drafted Tyler Davis at 206 in the draft this year. So we'll see if that helps. We'll see if that Their tight end game is on this year because they really haven't had a good tight end since like Julius Thomas was there.
Oh, that's a long time ago.
Yep, that was. And then as far as wide receivers go, DJ Clark and D.D. Westbrook, man, those are two solid wide
They're very
receivers.
solid. Yeah.
Yeah, I liked D.D. Clark last year. Did not do as well as, I was projecting at the start of the year, but he did relatively well. He was the 45th overall wide receiver last year, which isn't terrible. It puts him in line with a 12-team league for a flex position.
Definitely.
But then they also, in the draft this year, picked up LaVista Chenault with the 42nd draft pick overall.
So
and he is a Colorado boy. So you got to love those Colorado boys and, give the technically home state love, even though, my home state is Jersey. Jersey represent.
Jersey.
But yeah, man, I mean, I think LaVista or whatever his I'm just going to call him LaVista.
La Vista.
Yeah. I think he could step up and he could be fairly decent this year. We'll see what happens, especially with they just really have D.D. Westbrook and DJ Clark. I think he is in line to be at least a starter right off the bat.
Yeah, definitely. So, I mean, they do have a solid receiving core then if he does end up being somewhat decent.
D.D. Westbrook is a speedy little bastard, man.
He is. I like him coming out of the draft. I wanted him.
Yeah,
I wanted
any receiver
on the Packers. I wanted any receiver on the Packers, and we got nobody. So, anyway, I digress.
Okay, and that's really it for this team. They kind of went all over the board as far as the draft goes this year. Obviously, their big, I want to say their first pick this year was the LaVista at 42. I'm not sure if they had a first-round draft pick. If they did, it was like an offensive lineman or something.
No, I think they did trade it away for something. I know, like, for the Nick Foles thing, they had to give up stuff for another team to take him because of his humongous contract. So they literally had to ask the Bears, hey, take our draft picks and Nick Foles, and yeah.
Actually, they actually had 2 picks in the first round this year. Now that I look at it, they had a cornerback and a linebacker at 9 and 20. So C.J. Henderson and Clavon Chason.
Okay.
So yeah, he was the 3rd pick in the 2nd round, and I assume he's kind of in line to be that big starter right off the bat. A lot of people are saying that he's a really highly drafted prospect, and he should be really good this year.
Yeah.
So cool. Moving on from them, we're going to talk about the 3rd-ranked team in this division, the Colts.
The Colts.
And yeah, it could definitely. They have room to move as well because, I mean, they brought in Phillip Rivers. And while Phillip Rivers is a good, solid quarterback, he is a, ride or die kind of guy, man. He's a gunslinger. He's going to flip the ball around all over the place. And, I don't see a lot of great defenses in this division. But at the same time, man, if you're just throwing that ball around willy-nilly like he does, this is a competitive division. He could very well, easily just throw the ball to the other team and lose them games.
Yeah, no, I mean, Phillip Rivers is pretty old. He's like 38, 39, maybe 40. I'm not even sure.
Why is he still playing, man? He was drafted. He was infamous in that Eli Manning trade.
Yep.
And, oh, man, he should not still be playing anymore, man.
Who would you have preferred? Eli Manning or
Eli Manning won us 2 Super Bowls.
True. So,
I don't care.
I don't know if Phillip Rivers would have done that or not.
But. Yeah, no, it doesn't matter. You can say what you want about Eli Manning and, the defense won us those games. No, when it came down to it, and when you look back at the history, man, Eli Manning was one of the all-time greats in fourth quarter comebacks. Both of those games were necessary for us to have a fourth quarter comeback. He drove us down the field. He got those touchdowns when necessary. Nah, man, I would rather have Eli Manning and his 2 Super Bowls over Philip Rivers and his no Super Bowls. Yeah, Philip Rivers may have better stats ultimately, but sorry, man. Eli was never hurt. So, you knew what you were getting
True.
every week. You
True.
knew what you were getting, and that was a nail biter because let's be honest, until that clock reads 0.00, you never knew if the Giants were going to win or lose, man.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, I would have rather had Eli that whole time. I was totally good with everything that happened there. But yeah, we'll see what Philip Rivers can do now with a new team that he's starting off with in his upper 30s,
I
man.
know. Yeah, or early 40s. He's right up there. And it's probably just a 1 year thing. I don't suspect the Colts to keep him much longer
I
than
don't
he.
know why they would bring him in for one
I don't
year.
know.
And I'm sorry, you draft a rookie.
It's
You have, do you have a first round draft pick? Where is the Colts here? The Colts had, no, they didn't have a first round draft pick, but they drafted a wide receiver with their first draft pick at number 34. So, I mean, if you want to really invest in the future of your team, you don't go out and get a 40-year-old quarterback and try and build your team around that because you got 1 year and maybe you're banking on this 1 year going all the way, man. If you really think you can go all the way this year with with a 40-year-old quarterback, then best of luck to you.
yeah. No,
But
I wouldn't want to be a Colts fan right now. It's like, what are we doing?
dude, they didn't pick up a quarterback till the 122nd overall pick, and they
I
picked
mean,
up Washington's Jacob Easman. They're saying that he could potentially come in and be a starter and beat
they still
out.
got Jacoby, right?
Yeah, they still have Jacoby Brissett as well, but I don't know. I don't know. I don't think the Colts did enough in this offseason to merit the idea that it's all or nothing this year with Philip Rivers, and he's the guy that can take you there.
Take us to the promised land. Yeah, no, I agree. I
Nah,
agree. Although their defense is pretty solid, right? And just
it's one of
they
the
have
top
a
ranked
decent supporting
defenses.
cast around them, I believe. Now thinking about it, they have decent
Well,
receivers, right?
yeah, as I said earlier in this episode, uh, he has one of the best put together teams when you
Yeah.
look at it because, yeah, you got Rivers and Brissett. You got Marlon Mack, Nameen Hines, and they picked up Jonathan Taylor with the 41 overall draft pick, the Washington or Wisconsin running back.
Hmm.
They got Jack Doyle, who is a great tight end. They also brought in Trey Burton from Chicago, who he was a decent tight end for a couple of years. He was hurt last year for a chunk of the year, but he's a really good tight end when they really need somebody like that. So to have both of those threats there, and then you got T.Y. Hilton, one of the guys that's always in the upper echelon of wide receivers,
Hmm.
hurt a little bit last year, but he should be back up there. He should be one of the best this year. As I said, they drafted Michael Pittman, the USC wide receiver,
Mm.
with the 34th overall draft pick. And then they got Zach Pascal, who, I mean, he's been solid. He has been a really good, solid wide receiver for the past couple of years. Yeah, he doesn't have the standout numbers or anything like that, but he still puts up 700-800 yards, 6, 7 touchdowns. He's a good guy to have as a wide receiver 3. And as a small little slot guy that he is, yeah. Yeah, no, I think he could be a potential big pickup this year. I could see him as a sleeper overall.
Sure. Yeah, no, I can see that. Um, yeah, no, it's going to be interesting. Again, this division is going to be really fun to watch. The Jaguars can be bad or they could be good. Who knows where Minshew will be? Looking at the Colts, again, they got Philip Rivers, so it's like, all right, they have a good supporting cast around him. Are they going to be really good? Are they going to make the playoffs and be number 2 or even or win? I don't see them winning the division. but
I don't
maybe
see
they can go
any
up
of
to number
these
2.
teams winning. Yeah. No, it's
You don't see
really
the
in this
Texans though.
division.
The Texans.
Yeah, it's really, I feel, in this division a competition for second place.
Yeah.
It really is, man. Unless something catastrophic happens to the Texans this year, they are hands down the
The
number
best
one
team.
team in this
Yeah.
division.
Yeah.
Unless, Deshaun Hopkins, or not Deshaun Hopkins, they already lost him.
Deshaun Watson.
Unless Deshaun Watson, goes down, as well as both of their running backs go down. I think it's a battle for second place between these three teams, and the Colts definitely have a chance to get that second place,
Yeah.
but only if they could dethrone the Titans.
Yeah, and we will get to them here in just a moment.
Yeah. Getting back to the Colts, though, I mean, one of the things that's one of those things that I feel is a little intriguing to me is T.Y. Hilton coming out and saying this could be his last year with the Colts. So, in my mind, it's a contract year for him, which means he is going to be fighting tooth and nail. He's an older guy. He's been around for a little while. He's not like past his prime or anything. I think he's right there in his prime. I think he has, one good solid, contract left in
Sure.
him. And this year he's going to be fighting for that contract, and I think he could potentially be one of the top guys.
Yeah. And maybe the Packers will pick him up in free agency next year. That's what I always hope for. Packers sign a receiver. Somebody.
I mean, they got Devontae Adams. They got a
That's it.
receiver.
That's it.
Damn. Just no, that's it. That's all that they have.
There's
Just
just
okay.
one guy.
One guy. And a
Nobody
team
else.
full of running backs
Yeah. I don't know what they're doing, but
with wide receiver
that's
numbers.
that's
For
yep, that's
discussion
another
2,
topic.
3 weeks down the road.
Yep.
So yeah, I think it could be a contract. I mean, it's looking like it's a contract year for T.Y. Hilton. I could see him going elsewhere next year. I could see him playing his ass off this year to try and get that big fat contract to finish off his career with.
We'll
Might as
see.
well get that money.
Yep. This is a make or break year for probably Phillip Rivers and
Yeah.
T.Y. Hilton, and this is one and done kind of type of year for the Colts.
I feel like they are really trying to put all their money in on a Super Bowl this year because, yeah, it seems like that's what they're going for. And I don't think they're going to do it, but who knows? I have been wrong before. One time, it was 7 years ago on a Sunday afternoon. It was a little cloudy at the time.
Low
Yeah,
clouding, man.
a little cloudy at the
I
time.
remember that day. No.
Yeah. Yeah. But that one time I was wrong. That was it. Okay, let's move on from these guys. Talk about the time. We still got 2 more teams to talk about in projection, so we should try and hurry this thing up because long-winded. Titans are a little more interesting. Whereas I think that they're the solid number 2 team in this division, they still have a couple questions. Tannehill is a good quarterback. He really shined with them last year. It's his team. It's his position to lose. Derrick Henry, man, he killed it last year, and he is one of the people that they are saying this year is going to be the top rushing yards accumulator.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, and he's not a big pass catching running back.
Not a whole lot.
He can.
He did a little bit towards the end of the last year. I would not be surprised if they try to get him more involved in that aspect of his game this year. And if that's the case, dude, it's gonna be a battle between him and McCaffrey for the top running back position.
I could definitely see Derrick Henry being one of the top guys.
Mm-hmm.
Because I mean, do you know what he was ranked overall last year?
What, 2?
Number 2.
I got it.
Yeah. So yeah, man, and he came on strong at the end of the year too, man. It wasn't like a, he didn't start off strong. Yeah, but he had some monster games to finish off the end of the year, man, and that definitely helped.
It's just so cool, man. Like, it's just they literally will be like, we're gonna run the ball right down the middle and tell the defense that before the play
Yep.
starts, and then they'll do it and they'll still get like 10 yards. It's like,
Yep.
you can't stop us. We're
Stop
gonna do it
us.
again. We're gonna do it
Yep.
again. We're gonna do it again. It just it
And man, I
man.
was looking at Derrick Henry as a potential bust the first couple of years that he came into the league, man.
Yeah.
He was not doing anything great. Last year, man, he stepped up in a big way.
Just
And
during the cold games, like the later part of the season when people are
oh,
afraid to
man,
tackle him, like
big
he
bruising
puts a
running
hurt.
back.
He puts a hurt
Oh,
on everyone he touched or goes against. So
yeah.
that's where he shined. That is where
Lowers
he
that
shined.
Yeah, lowers that shoulder and just plows into people, man.
Yep.
And I can attest, man, as an ex-football player, that hurts in those cold weather games, man. Because I was one of those big boys that would never wear sleeves either. Oh, it's snowing right now and -2 degrees. I'll put on gloves.
Yeah. Yep. No.
So yeah, man. And then right behind him, they got Darrington Evans. They picked him up at the 93rd overall draft pick. Nothing really stand out about him, but I mean, he's going to be that number two guy with them. If Derrick Henry goes down, he's going to be the guy. He's also going to be, unless Derrick Henry does start pass catching more, he will be the pass catcher.
Right, and that's why I'm thinking there could be even more of an improvement with Derrick Henry and his stats this year. So I
Yep,
would consider him one of the top fantasy running backs this year. I would honestly
absolutely.
top 3, top 2, like that, really around that range.
Yeah, absolutely. Considering what he got last year, definitely. Tight ends don't really have tight ends though. They lost Delaney Walker this offseason,
Yeah,
so
that's disappointing for them.
yeah, they're talking Anthony Ferkster being their top guy, but I mean, who?
I don't. We seem, again, it's like a broken record, right? We go through these teams and we're like, who are these tight ends? Like, yeah, there's just not that many notable tight ends in the league. It's
Yeah,
just it seems like the teams don't put a lot of investment into that position as much as they used to.
yeah. They might also, and I'm looking this up right now, real quick. So please bear with me while I try and get my computer to work properly. Because I want to say they might have one other tight end that they are projecting could be high as well. But I don't want to be completely wrong, because I'm never completely wrong. Oh yeah, okay. Jonnu Smith is somebody that they are talking about will be their top tight end as well.
Yeah, I've heard
They
of his name.
Yeah. So last year he did okay. He really killed it at the end of the season. Last 3 games, he put in 10 points, 14 points, 13 points. He had a 16-point game last year. So he did okay. Overall ranking last year was number 18.
Yeah, that's, again, very
So
solid.
not necessarily one of those top guys, but if he gets on a run like that he did at the end of the season, and especially without a Delaney Walker there taking touches from him anymore, he could be a top guy. Absolutely.
Yep.
Keeping that game short. Because when you really think about it, they have 3 good wide receivers on their team. But let me ask you, Tony, honestly, right now, look me in the eye, one word answer. Do you trust Corey Davis?
No,
Do you trust AJ Brown?
I do actually. I like that guy a lot.
Okay. Do you trust Adam Humphries?
I forgot the Adams though. No, I don't. He had a
So
good year, and then I don't know if he did anything last year.
he
I
was
remember.
okay last year as
I don't
far
think he
as
did as good as I wanted him to be. 'Cause I know he was on Tampa Bay. He did really good, and then he went to the Titans, and I drafted him in fantasy. And I think I might have dropped him eventually. I don't know if I kept him.
he was the 81st ranked overall wide receiver
Yeah,
last year.
I thought it would be better than that, but
Yeah, a lot of people did. AJ Brown
AJ
is,
Brown,
one of the
he's
top
good.
guys
He's good.
projected this year. But I mean, you're looking at one of the top projected wide receivers in a division that does not have a lot of top wide receivers. So yeah, I don't trust Corey Davis at all. AJ Brown, I might draft if available, after the fourth round or something. But I don't think I would ever
AJ
pick him
Brown.
up. Yeah, I don't think I'd pick him up
No,
before the fourth round, and I would not pick up Adam Humphries at all. So
I mean AJ Brown is right up there with being one of the top receivers or rookie receivers. With what's his name, DK Metcalf in Seattle.
yeah,
Okay. Yeah, just really big, fast receivers, man. Those are my favorite type of receivers, and that's what he is. And then watching some of the catches he made last year, just throw the ball up in his vicinity, he's gonna get it.
yeah.
So yeah, I mean, for me in my draft board, because I'm apparently wanting to give away my secrets, I'd probably draft him earlier than most people. He'd be a priority guy for me. But
Well, it's definitely surprising where they're projecting him, I feel. But we'll get to that here in a minute. We still got one more team to talk about. The hands down number one team in this
yep.
division, the team that I feel everybody needs to, really needs to work hard to beat. Even though they did have a couple losses, the Texans, they lost Hopkins, obviously one of the top, if not the top wide receiver. I guess Michael Thomas is the top wide receiver, but a couple years ago, Hopkins was the top wide receiver in the league. Man, he's always one of those consummate like top five, top
Oh,
six guys. So it's a big loss for their team. However, when you look at who they have still in the wide receiver position, they're not hurting. So obviously, the Hopkins trade and everything, they got David Johnson from the Cardinals. We already talked about that a little bit when we covered the Cardinals earlier
yeah.
this year. So yeah, I mean, I think it hurt the Texans more than it helped the Texans.
Yeah, that's kind
But
of the initial stance on it, and everyone's kind of shaking their head, itching their head, like what the heck? Why did you do that trade?
yeah,
But because DeAndre has been so consistent,
yeah,
uh, while David Johnson, right?
yeah,
He has been hurt a lot. He's been good when he plays, but he's been hurt a lot.
yeah.
So it's kind of like again, it's a head scratcher. But who knows what they're trying to do? But they
There was probably
they did a
internal
big trade like
problems
that
going
last year
on.
too.
Yeah, for Larry Tunsil.
What? Yeah, Jadavian Clowney, they got rid of. I'm saying.
Yeah, they got rid of
Um,
him
and they
to
did just fine on defense, I think. Still, I don't know. Maybe
yeah,
they didn't.
they as far as their defense goes, they were the 24th ranked
Okay, maybe not.
defense last year.
Maybe
So
not.
they didn't do the greatest, but I mean, I want to say what JJ Watt was hurt most of last year. You got
Yeah,
a
he's
lot
been
of
he's been having a
issues
lot of issues. That
on
dude
that defense.
has had
Yeah.
so many injuries. So,
Oh man. Yeah, and yeah, the amount that he like, oh yeah, I just tore like my entire bicep off the bone. I'll be back in 3 months.
yeah,
And it's
that
just like,
dude, he's a
dude,
trooper.
recover that.
Yeah, I'm saying
Recover
he's a
that
trooper.
fully. But yeah, man. But yeah, as far as like the players of interest on this team, obviously this is Deshaun Watkins' team, or Watson's team.
Watson. Yeah.
Watkins. Deshaun Watson's team. Yeah, it's all about him. There is nobody at quarterback position that can even possibly give him a run for his money. Uh, Unless, as I said, something catastrophic happens. It's all Watson all day.
Watson all day.
As far as the running backs go, they got the double DJs going on, David Johnson and Duke Johnson. Love me some Duke Johnson. Killed me last year. I was really banking on him being awesome, but then, three teams had to cut one player, and that just threw everything into a goddamn cluster. But yeah, I mean, I don't know. For me and my money this year, man, I would pick up David Johnson potentially as late as the second round. And I would still bank
I,
on him having a potential good season only because he's got a stellar offensive line in front of him,
oh, he
man.
does. Yeah. Again,
I
it's all about just him being healthy.
yeah.
I am hesitant. I'm hesitant in drafting him. So kind of like we talked about before with AJ Brown, I would probably get AJ Brown earlier, but with David Johnson, I probably would hold off. I would probably not want to be that guy that gets him and then gets hurt right away and doesn't play.
That's true. Yeah,
So
I would not want to spend a top draft pick
yeah,
necessarily on him. If it was like the end of the second round and there was no
I
other
know.
good
Like
like top running backs
if
or
he's
something.
falling far, then of course, yeah, it's a steal at
Yeah.
that point, and you don't have to. Maybe you can have as a running back too. That'd be cool.
Yeah. Yeah. If
But
he's not your top option
yeah,
at running back, he's a great number 2
yeah,
with the potential to be a solid number 1
yeah.
again.
It's just so many question marks for me. Like I'm just like
Yeah.
I don't feel comfortable. Just don't
Yeah.
with him.
Absolutely. If I got him at the end of the second round or something like that, I think I would feel comfortable with that, depending on who I got in the first round.
Sure, definitely.
So yeah, I mean, if I had the top overall draft pick, I'd pick up the top, running back, wide receiver, whoever it may be, whoever I deem necessary at that spot.
Yep.
Uh, but then if it, with the way we go in the snake draft, if it got down to me again at the 24th overall pick, I could potentially see if there's no other, like if there's not a Kamara, an Ezekiel Elliott, one of those types of guys, one of those like hands down, this guy is the number 1 guy.
Sure.
I'm going with David Johnson. Third round and lower, I think he's a steal.
Agreed.
And
I agree
if
with
you can, and if he does happen to fall to the 4th round, the first person that drafts in the 4th round, you pick him up, or else I'm going to find you. I'm going to punch you upside the head. So, just promises. Not
Yeah,
making threats, making
sure.
promises.
Yeah, I get.
But then at tight end position, they got 2 really solid tight ends, really good solid tight ends. Darren Fells, Jordan Atkins.
Yeah,
Yeah,
no, that's
I
solid.
like both of those guys, man. Yeah, they're not necessarily projected to be terribly great this year, but they could definitely be solid, especially Darren Fells. I
Yeah,
really like what he did the past couple years.
yeah, he's been
Uh,
a very solid option. I remember him. His
yeah,
name. I remember his name in fantasy
yeah.
football quite a bit last year.
And that's the thing that you really got to
You
like
just remember the
think.
name.
Yeah, do I remember this person's name? Yeah, they did pretty well last year. Cool, I'm gonna pick them up.
Yeah, that's literally it. Because like I know him outside of fantasy football? Not really, actually.
Oh,
I just remember he might have been one of those guys that's always sitting there like in free agency. Then you pick him up, then you drop him a week, and you pick him up, and like one of those bubble guys. I'm not sure, but
yeah, always on the fringe.
yeah, exactly.
So, and then I love the wide receiver, not from a fantasy football perspective necessarily, but from a just watching football perspective. I love the wide receiver situation on this team because you have Kyle Fuller, or is it Kyle Fuller?
For what position?
Wide receiver?
Will Fuller, the
Will
fifth.
Fuller. Yes.
Again, I remember names. I can picture the name in my
So
head.
Will Fuller,
Yep.
Kenny Stills, Kiki Kuti. They got Brandon Cooks this year.
They
and
really have a
Randall Cobb.
solid core. That is a really solid receiver core.
I mean, the odd man out right now who was like drafted, I want to say only a year or two ago, is Kiki Kuti. He
Yeah.
is that fringe player right now that they're just like, well, we don't know if he's going to be around come the start of the season. They're really banking on Will Fuller being that top guy for them this year. And then Kenny Stills is always just solid, man. He really is. He's yeah, he's going to be up there. I think this could be a really good team. And yeah, they lost Deshaun Hopkins.
DeAndre
Or
Hopkins.
DeAndre Hopkins. Wow, god damn it. I'm just going to go over here real quick now. Thank you. Bye. Have a good day.
Well, our hostess with the mostest just rolled away.
I don't know what I'm doing anymore. But I mean, Brandon Cooks being there, Randall Cobb being there. I've always loved Randall Cobb, even since he was a Packer. I thought he was insanely underrated as a Packer.
and I wish we never got rid of him because we never replaced him.
Yep.
And
Yep.
it's just
Shouldn't
how
have.
it is. We hate signing receivers, drafting receivers, just Devontae Adams all day, every day. Apparently,
Yeah. Yeah. That's all you got. That's all any team needs to defend. But we'll talk about
yeah,
that
I
when we talk
know.
about the NFC
Wow,
North.
just gets to
Yeah.
me. Receivers and Packers. That's my hot topic right there. So
That's your version of now let's talk about the goddamn defense.
that is exactly it. Let's talk about the goddamn receivers. All right, there is none. Where are they?
All receivers were taken out back and shot in the head, old Yeller style.
We need to sign Antonio Brown or something. I don't know.
Oh God, don't sign Antonio Brown.
He's a body.
Oh man.
He's
Yeah,
the
that gets suspended for 8
cancer.
games the second he comes back. So
It's true.
that's going to be nice come second half of the season, I guess. I don't know, man. Would the Packers owners, given that they are
I
a
am an owner.
publicly open
Yeah.
traded team, would they really be okay with that? Do they get any sort of
No,
say on
absolutely
something like that?
not. Absolutely not. No.
Because I feel like owners of teams, like if you look at the Giants, they'll go to Mara and Tish, and be like, "Hey guys, we're gonna go and sign Antonio Brown. What do you think about that?" And they'll just sit there and be like,
Yeah. No.
you know,
It's kind of. I mean, I know it's off topic if Antonio Brown, but it's like with him, if he was still a free agent come draft time, would you draft him at some point in your draft?
no, absolutely not. I
No.
would not draft Antonio Brown at all
Not
this
even
year.
like a last round pick just for the hell of it kind of deal.
Even if he comes into the league this year and gets picked up by the team, he's automatically facing an 8-game suspension.
True.
Why deal with
It's
having a
It's a
roster
stash
spot?
player. A stash
Why,
player.
why, I wouldn't give up a roster spot for somebody that's not going to help me until 8-9 weeks into the season.
That's the thing too. If
Yeah,
he's
yeah, he
season
can
short.
be a he can be a potential asset later in the season, but I think I would rather hold out till like he's 2 to 3 weeks up before his suspension is done.
Yeah.
See if he's with see what team he's with, and possibly pick him up then and waste a
Yeah.
roster spot for 2 to 3 weeks as
I don't.
opposed to
Yeah. I don't know if he's actually
8.
gonna play football again. But anyway, I
Yeah,
I
I
know that
don't know.
got off. But anyway. Yeah.
That's off topic. That's something that we'll
Yeah.
get to when we actually get into season. Oh man, we're so close. We're almost there.
We are.
We're like a month away from the draft at this point. We're almost a month away from the draft, people.
What day? Hold
Almost
on.
here.
Can we? What day is the draft again?
That's something that we still need to talk about and coordinate with everybody. It's going to be
Okay.
over Labor Day weekend. I don't give a damn anymore what if anybody's going to be like, oh, but I'm not going to be around on Labor Day
I
weekend.
mean, it's
Sorry, go ahead and draft you Corey Davis in the first round.
it probably would be better like on the Sunday or something, or Sunday or Monday of Labor Day, or Labor. Yeah,
I'm
Labor Day.
even willing to do it like the Friday night,
I know. I'm saying.
something
Well,
like that.
I would say that, but it's also my birthday weekend, so I probably will be doing something Friday night. But we'll figure it out. We'll figure it out.
So yeah, if it's like Sunday first thing in the morning like we did last
That's
time,
what
or
we
is
did
it,
last year.
I, I I don't even care if it's done on Tuesday after work or something.
I don't mind that either. No.
As long as it's done before the first game takes place that Thursday, I'd like it to be done before that Wednesday to give us any sort of buffer time that we
Yeah,
potentially need.
would be cool.
But I mean, the later the better. If we have to wait until Tuesday to make sure that everybody is available for this, then that's what we got to do. If it's looking like, only 10 people are going to be available at any given time, we'll do our best for those 2 people that can't be around. Send me a list, of who you want in order, and we will absolutely do our best for you. But
Yep.
you
We'll see what
know,
happens.
at this point, sorry, we
But
gotta try and make sure that everybody's there, and I'm not going super early.
yeah, no, I mean, if you just plan ahead. So, because we're going to be doing the virtual drafts, it's going to be probably one of those live drafts on NFL.com. So, just week or two, or even the day before. I always like to set my draft board, right? Just in case technology fails us, because we work in technology. We know it fails every once in a while. So it's just good to have your draft board on the webs or on NFL.com ready to go. So if you do miss a pick, it'll just pick whoever you had next on your board. Um,
Exactly.
so that's the right strategy instead of just being
Yeah.
that one guy who's like, oh, I didn't do my draft board, and now it's just going to do auto drafts on all the best players that are best ranked. And it's like I
Y-
hate that. I hate it. I
Yeah.
hate it. I hate it.
And
Just set your
so many
board.
people just they go off of what is just suggested off NFL Network and
Right.
stuff.
Uh-huh.
Man, customize, think for yourself, man. Be an
Believe in yourself.
individual.
Believe in yourself. Choose
Talking
what you
talking to
believe.
you,
What's in your heart.
Jen,
Do what's in your heart.
right? Do what you feel is best, but I mean, I wouldn't take the rankings for what they are. Set
They
your own
help.
draft board.
They help in just, again, giving you names to look at, and then I'll just go do
Exactly.
my own separate list of like, all right, well, I would put this guy above this guy and this guy above this
Yeah.
guy, move it all around, and it's a
You
puzzle
know,
piece.
I personally think that Nameen Hines is going to do better than Duke Johnson this year. So even though
Yeah,
Duke Johnson is supposed to be ranked higher, I'm going to put Nameen Hines above him because I personally feel, given the situation that he's in, he's going to do better. So think for yourself. Be an individual.
don't be that guy or girl. Don't be it. Don't do it.
Don't be that
Set your
person.
draft board. Set it.
So
Tony S. Burgess. The S stands for set it. Yeah, I like that one.
right on. So getting into projections, I guess, this year, since we're talking about the draft and whatnot, let's get into that area and play our favorite game. Who's ranked best?
All right, let's do it.
So, who do you think will be projected to be the top quarterback in this division this year?
Deshaun Watson.
But where do you project he will be? Because yes, he is one of the top guys, but
I would say like 3 or 4. He's gonna be top 5, I think.
he is projected to be number 3.
I am pretty good at this game, let me tell you, folks.
Yeah, yeah. And last year he came in at number 4. So good solid choice there. I've had Deshaun Watson on my team, and yeah, I love that kid. He's a good quarterback.
Yep.
Who do you think's number 2 in this division?
I guess that's gonna be a tough one. Tannehill or Phillip Rivers, right? Um, Phillip Rivers.
Philip Rivers is the wrong answer. Tannehill is projected to
I
be
was
the next guy.
only reason is because I believe the Colts with Rivers are going to be more of a pass heavy team as opposed to the Titans who will run the ball of Henry 99% of the time. So,
Do 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 do. I don't know. Hold music. I don't know if he can hear me. Hopefully nobody's there.
no, I could hear you, but I think they hung up on me.
Okay, cool. That works. Well, it's happened to me now, and it's happened to you. Good thing today's my day off.
Yay. Anyway, let's get back to it.
Yeah. Tannehill's projected to be number 11. He last year was number 17 overall. The third projected quarterback in this division, Gardner Minshew.
Yeah. Wait. Number
3. Yeah. Well, the third ranked of these quarterbacks. He's projected to be number 15 overall.
I know, but you're
And then
saying Phillip
Philip
Rivers is last.
Rivers is last. They're projecting him to be
See,
the 23rd
that's where I
overall
don't.
quarterback.
That's where I don't necessarily agree. Like, yeah, I know he's old, but he still puts some numbers. He's still slinging that ball, and they have a good supporting cast around them. Like, yeah, it might be only 1 year, but I'm pretty sure well, I think he would be better than Gardner Minshew.
See, and last year, when looking at last year's stats, it was Watson number 4, Rivers number 15, Tannehill number 17, Minshew number 19.
It's really interesting.
Yeah.
I love this game. It's just fascinating to me because it's like, okay, well, NFL.com can have their projections all they want. I'm going to do whatever I want for my draft.
Yeah.
So I actually kind of like not being on the same page as the projections always.
Yeah. Yeah. I like
I like
that
having my
too.
own
Because
opinion.
with certain people, like with Jen last year, I could start projecting who she was going to pick before she picked it
Right.
because she literally just downloaded a sheet from the website and was just like, okay, well, this is who they say is best. So I'm just going to go with this.
Hmm. Yeah.
So
No, again, do what's in your heart.
throwing shade, Jen, throwing shade. Getting on to the running backs here. Top running back in this division will be, as we said,
Derrick Henry.
Derrick Henry. They're projecting him to be the number 4 overall running back this year
See,
with
again, I
points.
don't agree. I think he's going to be 2. 2 battle for 1, probably 2. McCaffrey would be number 1, but who else
I
is up
could,
there?
I
You know,
see him absolutely being up there with the top 3 or 4 guys. As far as projections go this year for running back, come on. Come on. Okay, there we go. Yeah, they're saying that Christian McCaffrey, Saquon Barkley, and Ezekiel Elliott are going to be the 3 guys that are ahead of him.
those
And
are
I could
really good
absolutely
running
see
backs.
that.
So yeah, I can see that too.
And it's
Um,
funny as far as projected points too, because when you look at it, McCaffrey, they're projecting him for like 299 overall points this year. Barkley, 243. Elliott, 237. Derrick Henry, 237.
they're like all right next to each other. They're all like,
So they're all right
yeah.
there. Yeah. And then at the next person is Dalvin Cook at number 5 at 234. So it really is a battle for number 2 as far as the running backs go. I think Derrick Henry is probably properly placed because he is less of a pass catching running back than Ezekiel Elliott and Saquon Barkley. So I think they hold that edge there, and
Hmm.
I think that could absolutely be the case this year. You know, with that 1 through 4. Uh,
Gosh, now I'm getting excited again. Like really excited for the draft.
right? Especially when you
Ah,
realize it's like a month away.
I know. Um,
Uh,
yeah.
yeah. So the second projected guy in this division, Leonard Fournette. It's pretty
That.
straightforward.
Yeah. I mean, David Johnson's still in that division too, right?
Yeah,
But
and they have them projected fairly close to each other too. Fournette, they're projecting at 15. DJ, they're projecting at 17.
yeah, I mean, I agree though. I would choose Fournette over David Johnson. I would. I would.
Yeah, and as far as like overall points, it's like Fournette, they're projecting for 199.73. Johnson, 199.30.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it's almost like negligible the difference between those guys. Hell, I want to say as far as projections go, they have 5 guys all projected at 199 points. That's
Yeah.
funny.
Yeah. No, it's again.
Oh, and
It's,
kind of good news on this one. We finally have projections for rookies now too.
oh, sweet. Yeah,
Yeah,
that would
like
be interesting.
the 4th ranked guy or projected guy in this division is the rookie from the Colts, Jonathan Taylor. They're projecting Jonathan Taylor is going to be a better running back this year for the Colts than Marlon Mack and Amin Hines.
That's huh.
Yeah, in fact,
To
Jonathan
me,
Taylor
hmm,
is 33. Marlon Mack is 34.
wait,
Duke
he's
Johnson
oh, never
is
mind.
36. And then Amin Hines, they're projecting at 53.
See, and then that's a thing too, right? With those teams like that, like the Colts who have a bajillion running backs, I always like to stay away from that as a fantasy guy. Like if because it's like it's so hard to predict like who's gonna get the ball and who's gonna get the touches and stuff. And to
Yep.
see that the projections right now are saying the rookie is going to be ahead, that tells me like, okay, well, I'm missing something here. They must. No, I was like, yeah, I'm just going to hold off on the Colts and the running backs. They can do whatever they want. I'm not going to mess with that. No.
Let's see what happens come a couple months into or a couple weeks into the season. And yeah, especially those types of situations, man, I would not like draft somebody very highly in that situation because I don't trust Jonathan Taylor to be the guy there. I would trust Marlon Mack way more than him.
You would think. You would think.
But yeah, I mean, these guys probably know something more
That's what I'm
than we
saying.
do.
They
So
probably know something that so like even for that instance, I would value looking at the rankings by the professionals, and if they say that, there's a reason for it, of some sort. So I would immediately I'd be like, all right, so I'm not drafting Marlon Mack or the rookie or anybody in that position for
yeah,
the Colts. That's just me.
not until we kind of see what's going on a couple weeks in, if it is more of a
Yeah.
by committee or one person is starting to take the lead.
Yep.
And you can't just give it 1 week too, because week one we're going to see one of these guys, I'm sure, get like 23 points. But then the next week, is he going to even touch the ball at all?
Right.
So yeah, you got to give
Time will tell.
situations like that like 2 to 3 weeks to see how they play out.
Yep.
On to the wide receivers, as discussed earlier, the top projected, the wide receiver projections for this division, I really feel are kind of laughable, because there is one person in the top 25 in this division now that they're projecting, and that's AJ Brown at number 21, who last year stats wise put him at number 7.
He was number 7.
He was number 7 last year.
See, that's what I'm saying, dude. That guy, he has potential.
Yeah. And then T.Y. Hilton, they're projecting at number 35 this year, man.
See,
do you see him as a
sleeper.
potential? Yeah, do you see him as a potential like number 3 guy?
I can still see him as number 2.
I think if you pick him up, like, I mean, especially with 35 as far as wide receivers go, you're not picking up like the 35th ranked wide receiver until 9th, 10th round in the draft. If you're picking up T.Y. Hilton in the 9th or 10th round,
that's a steal. I would.
That is a goddamn steal.
Yeah, no, I would agree with that. I love those guys that fall in the draft. That is something I always love to do, is get those guys that you don't think about until it's too late. Because T.Y. Hilton, I mean, you normally know him, but the rankings have him really far down on the list. You might, if you don't do your homework beforehand, then you're just going to be referred to that list and you're going to miss him. And then eventually Tony's going to come in there, just snap and get him as a flex receiver. Dude,
I'm going to have like that list, the basic list, and I'm just going to have that with me so that I can see if people are, just going by that list and who's being picked there, and just, okay, well, this person should pick this. Yep, they picked that person next. Cool. And now I know your draft strategy.
Yeah. So then you can, it's like giving away your
snake
focus.
People right before you.
Yeah.
Leave you with, a defense instead of the wide receiver that you desperately need.
Defense.
Let's talk about the goddamn. But yeah, dude. T.Y. Hilton at 35, Fuller at 43.
See, that's
DJ Clark at 44. I mean,
that's the thing. The Texans, again, they're going to be passing a lot. Yeah, they have David Johnson, but they also have an MVP candidate with Deshaun Watson at quarterback. Yeah. So I'm saying they're still going to be slinging the ball. The ball is going to be going to someone, and it's a safe. Yes, it's a good bet. It's going to be Will Fuller that gets a lot of those catches.
Will Fuller's that top guy. He's going to be that guy. He's going to get his catches in.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, I think 43 for Fuller. They're saying that essentially, he's a bench guy. He's not even somebody that people should waste their time on. And
I love it.
Yeah,
I'll take it 100%.
Yeah, down. I'm down with that.
Yeah.
So Jen, go ahead and listen to their rankings. DJ Clark at 44, Brandon Cooks at 55, Corey Davis, which is fine, 63, D.D. Westbrook at 67, Chris Connolly from Jacksonville at 71, Randall Cobb at 79,
Yeah,
and
there's a
the
lot
list
of
just keeps going.
mediocre receivers.
Kenny Stills, man, Kenny Stills, they're saying is going to be the 90th overall wide receiver. I don't buy it. I don't see it.
And that's why it's all up to us. To make the decision and build the best teams that we can. Don't
Yeah.
listen to the experts all the time.
Yeah. So, wide receiver or tight ends. I mean, we got Jonnu Smith. That's the number 18 overall tight end, who's the top tight end for this division. I don't know if I would personally pick up anybody from this division. I have high hopes for Eifert. I liked him in the past, but he needs to stay healthy. They're projecting him at number 23. I might pick him up as like a backup guy
Yeah.
just in case. I would not bank on him being my top tight end though.
Yep.
No chance in hell.
And for the record, I might be giving away a lot of the stuff I'll do for the draft, but once draft day comes, everything I've just said goes in trash can, and it's a brand new, like, it's impossible to predict what happens in the draft. So
yeah, one person can throw a whole wrench into
that's what I'm saying.
everything.
I don't think anything right now is going to be giving away our strategy too much, but
yeah. So, Jonnu Smith is number 18 projected. Jack Doyle is the number 20 projected.
I liked him last year. He was one of those guys, again, I remember his name because he caught a lot of balls and he was a decent
Him and
fantasy
Eric Ebron, man,
receiver.
they both dominated for the Colts last year. They both
Ebron,
did
man, he was something special for a while.
Yeah. I always had higher hopes for him too, especially when I saw that Detroit drafted him.
Yeah, Detroit had him. He did nothing in Detroit. Then he came to Indianapolis, and he just all of a sudden it was a new man.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I remember I picked him up. Well, I think was it last? Well, that I don't know. Last year or the year before? I'm not even sure anymore.
Yeah.
But I know it was in a different league, a different fantasy league. It was one that I've never done before, one of those auction ones where you have to bid on free agents instead of just picking them up. And I didn't know how that worked. And I literally put I think we all started out with like $100 for the year. And I put $20, I think, on Eric Ebron. I was like, I don't know, let's put 20. And everyone just laughed at me, right? But he ended up having an amazing season and being one of the best tight ends. And so everyone shut up after how good the season he did. But I still screwed up because I lost a lot of money and didn't have enough to buy guys later on in the season. But I just never played that format of draft before.
Yeah, and that's an interesting type of draft that we may talk about doing something like that in the future.
It's definitely intriguing. It was not horrible, but you just got to know how to do it before you freaking just throw all your money out on the first week for a tight end that. Just that's the thing too, right? Because that helps with not like the waiver wire right now. Just kind of like it just rotates right every week, or it's whoever the worst team was.
Yeah, whoever's the worst team has first priority, choice. And it just goes from there.
And so at least with the auction, it's more fair amongst everyone. Where like if you really like this guy, put down $10 or something if you want, and then if someone else puts $9 or something, they don't get them, but you get them, but you lose the money for getting other players later on. So it's an interesting concept.
Yeah, definitely. So moving on from tight ends now, because I want to say it was 2 years ago that you were talking about that Eric Ebron situation, because he got 194 points 2 years ago and was the fourth ranked tight end, right behind Kelsey, Kittle, and Ertz.
So that was a steal, even though I spent again a lot of money on getting him in the first week. He ended up still doing really well, and it was worth it. But yeah.
So kickers are okay in this division. They're actually saying that the Indianapolis kicker is going to be the top kicker, Chase McLaughlin. He is going to be the third overall kicker.
I don't know how they project that.
I think they look at your offense and
That's what I'm
say,
saying.
yeah,
But the
these guys are
Colts,
okay enough to get you down into that area, but not good enough to actually get a
so you
touchdown.
get the field goals.
Yeah, exactly. Um, I
And
don't know how they project kickers.
I don't know.
Who the hell knows with kickers? Because when you look at like
It's a
stats from
crapshoot,
previous
dude. It's a
years, yeah,
crapshoot every freaking time for a kicker.
yeah, it really is, man. It's like pick the kicker that you think is going to do the best and be ready to forego that come week 2.
Yeah, precisely.
Because yeah, when you look at like the stats, I mean, most of kicker's going to get you is probably about 150 points.
Yeah.
Probably get you right around 100 if you're lucky for the whole season. But I mean, yeah, looking at like past years, Harrison Buckner was the top guy last year. Looking at the 2018 season, Kaimi Fairburn was the top guy that year. Going further back, yeah, Greg Zerline was the top. Yeah. So the one constant that I'm always noticing up towards the top, though, and maybe this is giving away a little bit of information. Justin Tucker.
Oh yeah, he's always been the best one.
3 years ago, he was number 3. Last year, he was number 2.
Yeah.
No, sorry. 3 years ago, he was number 3. 2 years ago, he was number 2. Last year, he was number 3.
Yeah, he's the most consistent kicker out there. He makes everything. He's actually like he's really reliable.
Constantly getting about
And with
140
the Ravens
points too.
offense, dude, with how potent it is now with Lamar Jackson, yeah, no, he's probably the number one kicker by far, hands down.
So yeah, I mean, looking at his stats and everything, yeah, 4 years ago he was the top kicker. He's gotten about 143 points last year, then 151 the 2 years prior to that, 161 in 2016. 2015 he got 136 and was the number 2 kicker. Like, damn, man, Justin Tucker. I
Yep.
almost feel like he is worth a top 7 draft, like round draft pick, top 8 or something, just because of how consistently good of a kicker he is. And he will always get you, like, the least amount of points he's gotten in a season is 136 points.
Yeah.
And when you look at that compared to, like, tight ends and stuff, I would rather spend, like, I'd rather put more on a kicker earlier than a tight end almost.
Yep. No, I agree. It's just again how you value that position because like he's always number one or top 3, but again, like is a kicker going to make that much of a difference for your team and making it that far? I don't
So
know. We'll see how the draft
so
turns
to
out.
put it in a little bit of perspective for you, as far as like that comparison between tight ends and kickers goes, because that's like
Yep.
those are two of the lower scoring sections. Uh Tucker would have been like tight end 5 years ago. Tight end 4 years ago. Tight end 4 3 years ago. So he's right up there in like essentially a top. So if you can't get one of those top 5 tight ends, I'm putting money on a kicker before I'm putting
Yeah.
money on a tight end,
That's a good
especially
tip.
if I have the option at Justin Tucker at this point. Because yeah, I mean, he's a great kicker.
Yeah. No, that's a good tip. So if anyone's listening to this podcast, good job.
Me and you.
Pay attention. Take
Yeah.
notes. Take notes.
So do we do a word of the day thing again?
You always come up with that out of spontaneity.
Yeah, we haven't been doing
Random.
that so far this year, but we can start doing that again. So yeah, maybe we'll do a word of the day at the end.
All right.
And oh man, nah, because that cheapens it for us. Because then we don't have. I was gonna say, first person to give me the word of the day gets the top overall draft pick.
Do not do that. No, absolutely not. How are we determining the order? Is it just based on last year's standings?
No,
No.
no, I'm thinking either we're gonna draw names out of a hat again, or I like the idea of the Wonderlic test.
That's
Whoever
actually not a
scores
bad
the
thing.
highest on the Wonderlic test and we just go in descending order from there.
I love that
Because
idea.
I got a site that we can go to and take a half version of the Wonderlick or the full Wonderlick, and
That's not a bad option. Yeah, in one of my other leagues, we do it. What do we do? Pretty much, I think it does go based off of last season, but I think like the top 3 picks in the draft, I think they just still draw the hat out of or something. Like they do some. I don't know. I'm not the commissioner. I just draft when they tell me to draft. But
yeah. I don't know. It's something that we can talk about and maybe try and get input from the rest of the league. If anybody wants to put in some input as to how they think it should go, I am personally of the opinion of I just choose everybody to go after me. And I mean, it's easy, it's simple, and I can
Yeah.
easily do that.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, of course. That sounds logical.
So yeah. I guess we were talking about kickers before we kind of went off on that. I went off on that Justin Tucker rant.
Well, there's not much else to talk about of kickers, so that's
yeah, I mean Greg Joseph, 12th ranked kicker, Josh Lambo, 23rd ranked kicker, Kaimi Fairbairn, whatever the hell his name is, 26th, which I don't necessarily believe. I think Fairbairn is going to be
Isn't he
one
the
of the
Texans?
top. Yeah.
Yeah, so you would think you'd be one of the top.
He's always one of the top guys and
That's
has led the league in kicking seasons ago. So
I mean, that's the thing for me. It's just like, does the team have a good offense? Yes. All right, I'll draft a kicker. If do they have an abysmal offense like the freaking Dolphins or the freaking Bengals? Absolutely not. I am not drafting the Bengals kicker. No.
Both of their kickers are projected higher than Fairbairn.
See, that's the thing that's crazy to me. But
yeah, Randy Bullock and Jason Sanders are both ranked higher and considerably higher than him.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think that's dumb. And then as far as defenses go, Indy is number 9, Tennessee 19, Jacksonville 20, Texans 25. None of these defenses did great last year. Tennessee being the top defense at number 12. Then Indianapolis at 13, Jacksonville at 20, and the Texans at 24. So nothing terribly great there. As far as defenses go, I probably would not pick up a defense in this division at all to start off with. But I mean, who knows? Texans could come out of nowhere and do something decent.
Yeah,
they always have that ability. Yeah. So who knows? But this has gotten really long. We have been here for quite a while now. So I think we should go ahead and cut this off here. Talked about a lot of the division thing. So yeah, let's go ahead and call this here. So that was our ramble for this week on the AFC South. Yeah, that's it. For my co-host, Mr. Turney S. Burgess, the S. Turney. Tony S. Burgess, the S stands for
Set it.
Set it. Set your thing. Do it now. And I am Garrett M. La Laguna. The M stands for Magad. Yeah. So have a good rest of your day, guys. Take it easy. Be awesome to each other. As we always say, like, share, subscribe, do that whole thing. Don't care to who. Just do it somewhere because, don't be a dick. So, have a good one, guys. We'll see you later in this week for our NFC South preview. And we get to talk about some Saints and some Falcons and, marching on and that whole thing. So, yeah, cool, guys. Take it easy. Have a good rest of your day. I'm going to go away now. Bye.